Kwam Yasharala Israel. Shalom, people. How everybody doing today? Sure, my headphones is good. Okay, so today I got a nice little lesson for us. I'm gonna break it up into a couple of parts. I will name it part 1, part 2, whatever. But it's kind of long, so I want to be able to. I'm not trying to please persons, so let me get that clear. I definitely don't do that. If my video have to be an hour, it has to be an hour. If it has to be 2 hours, it has to be 2 hours. But I'm realizing that my audience, they like when the video is 30 minutes, 20 minutes, but once it's an hour and some change, I guess they get a little sleepy. I understand that this is, a person is reading this to you and you have to watch it over the YouTube or you have to watch it on your TV, but we can watch TV shows and reality shows for an hour, 2 hours, binge watch that, but we can't listen to our brothers and our sisters when we are talking the word of God, something that you wouldn't do. Would you lay down your life the same way Christ did? So if you wouldn't, how can you not take and say, yo, you know what, if somebody else is talking the word of God, reading the Bible, I'm not doing that, but if they are talking it, let me listen to it. It's a message in it somewhere. If it's an hour, maybe 10 minutes of a message is in there, but I might have to go through this hour. I might have to suffer for it. But you can suffer and work for another nation and let them work you 40 hours, 50 hours, and you can't give your brother an hour or two of working with this Bible. Because I might connect with you. I might have something for you. This might benefit you where you could come and help me. You know what I'm saying? This goes for men and women. Olders, youngers. I even take a 3-year-old right now if that's what's going to be offered to me. You got a lot of these little 3-year-old babies running around talking, saying the F-U word and mommy this and mommy that. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be giving this baby, this child, and not offend him and give him some unrighteous words. We're supposed to be giving him something of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? So just a little thing. I just wanted to clear up to let you know I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. But if I can't, I apologize. If you can't follow with the video as far as, oh, it's too long, not a problem. Go ahead and watch a reality show. But ask the producer of that reality show, is he going to get you in the kingdom of heaven? And I guarantee you, he going to smile at you and say, yeah, just keep on watching my show, because he gets paid off of you. I'm not getting paid for doing this. I don't even want your money. Only money I want is your soul to actually say, yo, you know what? I want to do that. I want a little bit more wisdom. I want a little bit more understanding of the Bible and of God. We don't have to wait for each other to do this. You can do this yourself. But if you need the help, call on somebody. This is what we got phones for. They ain't have phones back in the days. If they did, Mary would have called Peter like, yo, check it. I'm at the cave right now and Christ ain't here. They say, yo, we got to meet him at the Galilee. Bring me my bag. Make sure you get my stuff from my hair, all my good cologne, all that. So that way I could be right for my son. If she'd have had a phone, she would have made that phone call. And then everybody that did find out that Christ was risen, they would have understood, okay, he left on the Sabbath day, not on the first day of the week. When we found out, everybody found out on the first day of the week. Mary had to go home, put her good clothes on, do her hair up real quick. Peter had to get dressed because, yo, he did tell us he's going to rise. I never really believed it or seen it before. I never seen a man do this. So now let me get right. I don't know who he bringing with him, so let me get right. You dig what I'm saying? We got phones for purposes. We got Facebook. We got so much technology, man. We can really get together. But I'm going to get into the lesson. What I'm working with today is I'm working in the Apocrypha. And what I'm working with today is the Wisdom of Solomon. And I'm going to do chapter 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten it, like I said. This chapter got 21 verses. So I'm going to break it down. And I'm going to probably stop at maybe verse 5. And I'll probably do that in a part. And then I'll do it in another little part or whatever the case may be as I can go. I'm not going to make you wait long for it. If I can get it to you tonight on both parts, cool. But if I can just get it to you tonight, maybe something different tomorrow, and then the rest of part 2 to this on a first day of the week, whatever the case may be, I'm willing to do. But work with me. I'm by myself. I love doing this, don't get me wrong, but it's not easy when you're doing it by yourself. You have to read it. You have to break it down. You have to interpret it. You have to keep the precepts. It's good. I love it, but I can't rush it. You know what I'm saying? This is right here. God ain't make this just so we can be able to be in rush. We got to run this race right now with patience. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me get that precept. I don't want to paraphrase nothing. That's in the book of Hebrews. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. So, at the end of it, one, you got to understand that whole bit of wisdom that he is throwing out there towards you. One, you cannot run a race with patience. Either you in it to win it or you not. But in other words, this thing, everybody that's so operating in haste, but they're operating in haste of the wrong things. So if they start to operate with themselves and picking up this Bible right here, this word, we can be able to run with patience then, because we all connected. We all on the same path. It's like we're sprinting. You know what I'm saying? Nobody running real fast. We just sprinting together. Even a 60-year-old, 90-year-old, we keeping up. Everybody keeping up together. This is what is looked for. So just work with me. All right. So we're gonna get into it. This is the Wisdom of Solomon. This is chapter 10. This is in the Apocrypha, and I'm gonna keep the precept. I'm gonna have to go from the Apocrypha to the Bible to the Apocrypha, but like I said, just work with me. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 1. She preserved the first formed father of the world, that was created alone, and brought him out of his fall. Verse 2. And gave him power to rule all things. Now, we know who this particular man is, and reason why she is letting you to be known is that at the end of the day, it went from a certain time, from the beginning stage all the way up until a time where I got Jacob and I said, yo, listen, I'm gonna put my heritage, my blessing, everything within you, and then you're gonna split your portion and you're gonna give it to your 12 children. So Wisdom in Solomon is bringing you through, and this chapter is gonna bring you from Adam all the way to Jacob, maybe even Moses, Salakia. It'll even bring you past Moses, bring you to Moses rather. So what this chapter gives us is that we can be able to get a little bit more understanding of a creation and how things was going about. We don't got to really pick on or nitpick at the little necessities, you know. Was the grass really high or was the grass low, like somebody mowed the lawn? Was the trees like flapping like overly large, or was they really, really small with nice colors? We don't have to go into that, right? That's really not that important. So at the end of the day, she is letting it be known in verse 1 and 2 is that she preserved the first formed father of the world, that was created alone, and brought him out of his fall, and gave him power to rule all things. So to understand what she is talking about, let's go to the precept of that. And we're going to go to Genesis first. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Just to give you a clear understanding, because what you have to understand is what she is letting you know. She preserved the first formed father of the world. So we got to make sure that, you know, we are talking about the same man here. You digging what I'm saying? This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. So at the end of the day, when God created this particular thing, also that man that was preserved and he's going to be running all things, that man was Adam. So we're going to make sure that that man was Adam. You dig what I'm saying? You're going to stay in that same chapter, and you're going to go to verse 24. Yeah, give me verse 24. And God said, let the earth bring forth. I'm sorry, Salakia. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. So, before man was even created, God created another set of things. And to tell you the truth, these are men within itself too. They're just labeled as beasts. You dig what I'm saying? We're going to get into that a little bit deeper and probably another lesson. But understand what we're going to be talking about here. And if you follow me throughout the precept, you're going to understand. So, as he created this thing, he created these beasts at the first. You know, and what is a beast? A beast doesn't have no type of common sense to anything. You dig what I'm saying? If he's not trained well, a dog could bite you. You dig what I mean? If a cat doesn't like you and you come into a house, it might scratch you. It might jump at you. It might do something. You dig what I'm saying? So understanding this though, that the beast was made at the first. We're going to go. Give me 26 real quick, just so I could be able to, to let it be known that he wanted to make a man. You dig what I mean? Because I know a lot of people who maybe just be coming to my videos and, well, did God make a man or did he make him as a beast? No, he made him as a man. He didn't make him as a beast. He didn't turn this man out. He seen that this man, I'm going to make a righteous man at the beginning. Now, how men come out after this is all on you. Dig what I mean? If you pick up this commandment, you can come out and do some righteous things. But if you don't, you're going to come out and you might be a part or you might be oppressed by some of these beasts right here. Right? So this is verse 26 in chapter 1 in Genesis. And God said, let us make Adam, man, in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So clearly we understood that particular message right there. I want you to go to Genesis 2 and 18, because we're talking about how she was trying to save him from his fall. Remember, he was made and created by himself, and he had to name animals. So upon him giving names to these animals, he's by himself, and God is looking like, yo, man, I hope this man don't turn around and decide to have a wicked desire and decide to lay with one of these animals, man, because I'm going to tear him up. And I don't want to tear this man up after I just created him. I just created the world, and I'm going to have to create and destroy a man in the beginning of the world before I can even let it get good. Come on. I don't want my history to go down like that, right? So I can understand God's reasoning of him giving him a helpmeet. But we're going to make sure of this. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. So at the end of the day now, after I done made all of the beasts and I done made all of this, I'm seeing that this man is by himself. He needs some help. I don't want this man to fall to wickedness. So now I'm going to make and give this man something so he could be able to have, so that way he doesn't have a vain thought in his mind. You know what I'm saying? So when wisdom decided to do these particular like things, even though Adam fell to the ignorance of eating a piece of fruit that he shouldn't have ate off of, yet at the same token, with us seeing this, for us, for our sakes, you can clearly see where somebody is involved in ignorance or unrighteous dealings. We have an opportunity, us as men, as Adam, to not take part in that. where Adam didn't have an opportunity to really get to see if somebody's going to be sneaky or not. You dig what I mean? To be unrighteous or not, to do something wicked, to go against a commandment. Here it is. I was falling at one point because I was by myself, but God decided to give me a help. That help actually kind of did me more harm than it did good. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, though, just as he fell, he was able to repent himself as long as he was able to bring forth seed. Make sure your kids doesn't do this thing. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we are supposed to have today. You have a lot of Adams today that be about to fall. God is about to show and give them something. Yo, listen, I'm going to send some wisdom towards you. I'm going to send one of your brothers to you. They're going to show you this word of God. You're going to be stuck with this, because when you read in certain parables in this, you could be stuck like, yo, what do you mean by that? Damn, I don't understand, Lord. With a precept to that. So here it is. You'll find yourself being weary, but if you diligent and you got the heart to do it, and he see that, he's going to give it to you. But a lot of us don't take that. We get a little, it start to get a little rough. Nah, forget it. I'm going to close my book and I'm going to go outside. Go find some unrighteousness, right? So when wisdom decided to do this particular thing, she preserved that man for a time, but also for us to see. So you got an opportunity, Adam. You could be able to make a righteous judgment call if you paying attention to what the unrighteous dealings of certain people are. It's your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers. It doesn't matter who it is, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go to the next precept. I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. So we already know that man of Adam, who was made in the beginning of the world, that man that was birthed in that New Testament is Christ. With this man dying for us, this man left us an example the same way Adam left us an example of what to look for as far as ignorance, even in the beginning stages. So Christ actually did a thing similar. He just didn't fall to the same ignorances as us men do. So when we look at Christ and then you look at Adam from his beginning and then the time of Christ, you can clearly see the resemblance. You dig what I'm saying? There's something for us there we can be able to work with. It may not be much to you, but it's something to work with there. You dig what I'm saying? So let me get the last precept and then we're going to move on, because I see that I'm moving up in minutes and I don't want to, again, I'm not trying to please persons, but I do want people to actually understand this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to run away because, it's too long. So we're going to go to Psalms. Give me chapter 124. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 124, verse 8. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. So clearly, you see how it went from there. I went from the beginning, I went to a little bit of a middle, and then it brought us back to, at the end of the day, that man that created heaven and earth, he's the only person that can save us. He's the only form of help we got. We don't have much help from nobody else. You will have a Christian man who is sitting down next to a man who does not know what type of heritage he should be. That Christian man is not even going to let him know, yo, listen, just grab your Bible, open that up, and let me just start you off just with the New Testament at least. At least that's what y'all could do. Right? So at the end of the day, you'll have certain people who they won't help. They won't say nothing. They won't open their mouth. Whether you feel as though you don't know it or not, you feel as though it's going to be a contentious argument, say something. Because you never know. Somebody might can be able to help you. Oh, you know what? I know what you're talking about. This is how this goes. But No, nobody says nothing. Everybody shuts their mouth. Everybody does their own thing. Could you imagine Christ coming down here and seeing 4,000 people want to eat fish and bread? He decided to bring upon fish and bread, but eat it for himself? No. But this is what people would do today. They become fishers. They become workers of whatever type of job, get their paycheck, save it for themselves. Get a credit card of a $500 limit, only spend $150, save the rest for themselves. Because according to the credit card commandment, you cannot go over 30%. I don't care about that. If I see a sister or a brother of mine who knows that she got a phone bill, a light bill, or something that's $40, and I already spent my $150, guess what? I'm putting that 40 on that $150 too. That means that bill is $190. I'm really trying to push it up to $300 because I really don't care about that credit. My credit is way low in the earth than my credit card that I got from any type of bank, any type of institution. You need to check your credit as far as your spirit. Forget your credit in this world. Try to understand something. We're gonna go to the next We're gonna go to the next part of the lesson. We're going back in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10. This is verse 3. But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. We already talking about Cain here, right? So to understand Cain's whole situation, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 3. I want you to drop down to, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. This is part, as I'm pretty sure you guys know, I've did this twice. So this is part of the curse where God is cursing the serpent, Eve, and Adam. And a part of this curse that he is going to let it be known between the serpent and between the flesh of Adam and Eve. This is what's going to happen. This is verse 15 in Genesis chapter 3. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Understand this. He is telling this to the serpent. In other words, when you're looking at the wisdom of Solomon, what she was telling us in verse 3. But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. What God was letting the serpent know is that enmity is to separate, take away. So at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to read it again. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. So I'm going to separate unrighteous men and righteous men. I'm going to separate these particular two people. So when I separate these two, he's going to bruise your head, but you're going to bruise his heel. You digging what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we clearly got an understanding of what we're talking about here as far as what Wisdom of Solomon is letting us be known. At the end of the day, just as when that happened in the beginning of the world, one unrighteous act went forth, then another unrighteous act went forth. But it had to be a separation. It had to be an enmity there. And it was between two brothers. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go to the next precept, Genesis. And I'm going to go in, this is Genesis chapter 4. And this is verse 3 through 5. Just explain you this process of the unrighteous thing that this man did. I'm gonna read from 1 through 5 because so that way you could understand what I'm talking about. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have begotten a man from the Lord. When it says Adam knew Eve, this is when the first time they actually laid with each other and had sex to bring forth this kid. You know what I'm saying? When it was in the Garden of Eden, there was no such thing. You can learn that in the book of the Jubilee. You dig what I'm saying? This book of the Jubilee was the book prescribed to Moses, to let the children of Israel know, yo, they're going to learn the law, statutes, and commandments, and they're going to forget it. Make sure that they remember it. You know what I'm saying? So you can find more information as concerning Cain and Abel and their story in here. But I'm going to read a little bit, and then I'll give you a little something out of there, give you a little story or two, make it a little juicy. I got you. Verse 2. And she said, and she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Verse 3. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Verse 4. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Now understand this. This man in the book of Jubilee, God came to him after they made their offering, right? And after they made their offering, God came to Cain like, yo, why is your countenance different? Why you got an attitude? You mad or something? And Cain is letting it be known. You digging what I mean? Like, yo, you accepted his offering and not mine. I'm the oldest. So God is like, yo, check it. If you do good, shouldn't good come to you? Actually, let me get that. And this is verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? Verse 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Right? So because of unrighteous dealings, anything of wickedness, this man had an opportunity to do another offering, make it good so you could be accepted. But if you don't do good, sin is going to lie at the door for you, and it's going to be right there waiting for you. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to do an unrighteous act. So after God's having this conversation with him and telling him this, you would think if God come to you, God told me if I do this thing, I could be able to be accepted. I got one more chance. Thank you, Father. Thank you. No, this is not what happens, right? So because of this, they go back into the field, him and his brother. Remember, Cain is a keeper of the ground. Abel is a keeper of sheep. So as he's out there, on his little rake or whatever he's out there doing to be able to get the dirt or the soil to be able to moisten up so he could plant his little seeds and do what he do, he see his brother. And his brother is in his way, walking with his cattle, walking with his sheep. And he like, yo, bro, like at the end of the day, stay out my way. You see me over here tilling the ground. And he's like, yo, bro, at the end of the day, you got an attitude with me still because of my offering was accepted by God. Check this out then. Being that you don't want me to be in your way, stop taking all of my sheep, stop taking their skin and making yourself a coat. Because you're trying to be like daddy and be like him. You can't be like daddy, boy. So when Cain heard this, he like, oh, nah, you ain't going to get a offering, get accepted, and then talk crazy to me. I'm your oldest brother. So he killed him. You know what I'm saying? Just to understand that he had an opportunity to do good. Yo, bro, what made you make that offering? Oh, really? You made that offering because you thought that God would like that better? You know what? Can I get one of your sheep, whatever, so I could go make an offering to the Lord? Can you show me how to do this offering? Something. But we don't have that. So clearly, we still have that today where we have brothers that can't even come together to be on one accord when it comes down to God. One man feels though, because I'm a Christian, and I'd rather say Jesus Christ, and Jesus said that I can have anything in the world. If I go to the store, all I have to do is say, Jesus, give me everything in the store, and Jesus is going to give it to me. Jesus don't work like that, boy. And his name is not Jesus. It's Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, boy. But guess what? You don't care for that. No, I'm going because I go to church every Sunday. Yeah, you better stop that too, because they're lying to you. You know what I'm saying? So these like things, but our brothers say, yo, you know what? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna destroy you. Come on, man. We gotta get better than that. This is verse 8. And that in other words, in verse 8 is letting it be known Cain and Abel, they had a talk and he killed them. You dig what I'm saying? But in the Jubilee, it get crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. That book of Jubilee is something else. I'm gonna go to the last precept for the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 3. I'm gonna go to the last precept for that, so then I could be able to move forward. And we're gonna go to 1 John chapter 3 and 11. This is the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 11. For this is the message that ye have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Verse 12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. So you see where you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's so much more to the creation of time to understand where we at today. But you have to diligently seek it, man. It's a lot, but I'm trying to keep it in a short way where I can keep your attention and I don't lose my time. If any of those that have a problem with anything it is that I'm saying here right now, anybody that does know me personally, you got my number, call me. We could chop it up, we could talk about it and figure out and go through the scripts. I'm with that. But come first with peace and come willingly to be taught yourself. Don't come thinking that you're going to know so much. If you circumcised, make yourself uncircumcised. If you think you're wise, make yourself a fool so you could become a wise man. You dig what I'm saying? But if you want to have contention and say, yeah, because Jesus did this and Jesus did that, I'm going to burn you, boy. I'm going to be nice at the first, but I'm going to burn you. I'm not going to sit here. I ain't got the patience for that. You want to come with fully. You feel me? So, we're going to move on. This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10. And this is verse 4. For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. This is Noah. Now, I'm going to go to the precept on that, but I wanted you to understand what she was saying here in that verse 4, and I'm going to read that again. For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. Understand that this Bible is, I can maybe say to maybe a percentage, some of our Bible is definitely missing. And we have a lot of our scripture is in Rome. We know this for a fact. 72 AD proves this for a fact. You do your history. For all those who think that they are Romans, who think that they are Baptists, they think they're Catholics, they think they are Christians, you think you're Mormons, you think you're atheists. Do your history for real, for real, for real. And then you will understand. But most of our knowledge and most of our scripture is in Rome and the Vatican. God is not letting them use it to the intent, the way they could use it. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, if they are using it, it's backfiring on themselves. You know what I'm saying? But what I wanted to get you to understand about that verse is that this Bible with the Old Testament, the New Testament, you had the Apocrypha, which is not in the Bible as of right now because they took it out at a certain time, around 1885. Before then, a book of the Apocrypha was in the Bible for 274 years, since King James did the Bible. They took it out. But to understand that, you got the Old Testament, you got the New Testament, we got the Apocrypha, you got the Book of Jubilee. Let's not stop there. You got the Jew, a Negro. That's good history, is letting you know about how you could determine the difference of different races on the skin tone, your bone structure, everything of that nature. But let's not stop there. From Babylon to Timbuktu, this tells you all about how the white race done got rich and populated off of us. This tells you about it all. Let's not stop there. How about the Book of Enoch? Why stop there, right? Let's keep on going. How about the Book of Joshua, right? How about, you got so many more things. So because of this, whoever does not believe in anything that I just showed you, which is these books right here besides the Bible, then yeah, you're going to feel as though, well, you know what? I don't believe anything that I'm reading in here, and I'm going to continue to live my life. But understand that this small something right here, we got enough to work with if we all come together. That's all we need. Just as this particular man got put into a boat with just his peoples, his own kids from his own flesh, nobody else, man. Because his works was right. He decided to be a faithful type of man. He decided to follow all of the ways of the Lord, especially after having a person like Enoch at the first. After hearing what Cain did to his brother Abel. After hearing how Adam sinned and left out the garden. Oh, come on, eh? Right? So because of this, I'm not trying to be like these people. Right? So we're going to get the precept to understand exactly what she's talking about. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 5. We're going to Genesis chapter 5, verse 28 through 29. And Lamech lived 182 years and begot a son. Lamech is the father of Noah. I just wanted to put it out there so you could be able to understand. When you see certain names in the Bible, this is a bloodline, and it's very important for you to understand them. So Lamech was 182 years old when he got his son. 182. You got certain men out here right now that's not even making it to 25 before they on 5 kids. Damn, boy, you got a football tribe. I hope you at least giving them something, some fruitful things, so they could be able to, stand up in these trying times right here. I got a video on the things that I'm talking about as far as people who do have multiple kids. Give them something, man. Don't just let them watch Netflix and chill. Don't just let them go outside. Don't get them a bike or a skateboard and say, go do you. Teach them something, man. Please, man. Earnestly. Let me just continue to go on. 29. And he called his name Noah, saying, the same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. The definition of the word toil, if you give me a second, I had it actually, but I'll pick it up again. Just give me a second. The definition of the word toil: to labor, a brush, to work hard, fatiguing work, any oppressive task. So, as you can understand why Wisdom of Solomon is saying what they were saying, and in Genesis is saying what they're saying, that this man named Noah, he's going to be a comfort to us, especially in these trying times right now, because of the works of our hands and the things that we're doing. God cursed the ground from the beginning of time, since they did what they did in the beginning. So when that situation happened and Cain shed blood and he cursed the ground, now that the ground is cursed, Every man is trying to find his way. What can I do? Should I be a killer or should I not be a killer? Should I hide? Should I tuck my tail between my legs? Nobody knows. And because they don't have no counsel and they're not directed, they're not even shown to say the least. Yo, it was men in the Bible who actually committed murder, and there was other men who actually was able to raise up against that unrighteousness. You know what I'm saying? So as Noah in 29, and he called his name Noah, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord have cursed. So this man right here, if you saying today, yo, I'm going through a lot, I'm tired of going through what I'm going through, you gotta look at the fact of what these righteous men did, such as Noah, such as Seth, such as Enoch, such as Enos. You know, these type of men should be glorified. These are renowned men. You know what I'm saying? So because of this man right here, we can look up to this man and we can be able to get something. God called on this man for a reason. So if you want to be like this man, you might have to do a work. You might have to do a job. You might have to, you know what I mean? You got to get to the business. I'm going to go to the next precept. This is Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And understand this. This wasn't a thing that God planned or anything of that nature. But in the book of Enoch and in the book of Joshua, when they was coming down, they did this thing because men during this particular generation of time, during Noah's time, they was giving their women birth control. You got to remember, when God created something, God creates something. If you look at the world today, you go outside and you say, yo, the sunset is beautiful when it sets. You know, when the grass is cut, it really looks really nice. You know, certain things, at the end of the day, when God made man and women, it was actually beautiful creatures. So when God made women were so beautiful. When men actually had babies by them, their bodies changed. So men decided to say, yo, listen, we're going to give them a potion. That way they don't get pregnant, keep that good figure. So when the angels seen that, they like, yo, they supposed to be multiplying. We can go down here and, we can have sex with them and we could have babies and we could be able to do a job for the Most High, thinking that was a righteous act, and it wasn't. Go to 7 and 8 of Genesis chapter 7. And Noah went in. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me verse 6, 7 and 8. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. Verse 7. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Verse 8. Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. This man had everything in his possession. We had pigs up in there. So when he's telling you, yo, it was unclean things, we had certain animals that's depicted in our Bible of things that's unclean. But God just created the earth. I just created things, and things just got haywire out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. So this thing that I'm about to do right now, I'm going to destroy a lot, but I'm going to save a little. Because in a later time, I'm going to let you guys know, these are the things that I don't want you to eat. This is the things that the stranger can eat and you can't eat. You know what I'm saying? He's going to break it down. So during this particular time, we clearly see what the wisdom of Solomon is letting us know. She preserved this man in all of these particular things in a time of what was going on in a small piece of wood. If you actually sit back and humble yourself and find yourself some leisure time and stop putting yourself in things that's not beneficial, you can actually put yourself in this small little piece of book right here. You could bring forth something good. I promise you that. I'm not going to hold you. We're going to go to, give me 13 through 14 in that same verse. And the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with him into the ark. 14. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. Give me Luke chapter 17, verse 26. And I'm going to explain why I said what I was saying in a second. Luke chapter 17, verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. That day, when those times around where people, if anybody was reading the New Testament, especially now, people was going to look at that time where Noah was coming out of the ark, him, his kids, and everything of that nature. No. Well, here's letting you know, just as the days of Noah was when all of the wickedness and all of the unrighteousness was going on, and the angels came down and did what they did and birthed giants, and the giants started to tear everything apart. Just as that time, that's how it's going to be when the Son of Man comes. Just as it is right now, everybody going to be shooting up, going to parties. Girls are going to be twerking for the Lord. Everybody going to be doing some unrighteousness. And when God comes, you are not going to be able to say, yo, Father, I didn't know you was coming today. You ain't going to have that opportunity. Unfortunately, around the time of Noah, Noah gave the men 120 years to get right. And if they did not get right, God was going to cause the flood. Let me give you that in the precepts. Let's do that way you don't say, well, Anthony, how do we know that God gave men 120 years? We're going to get that for you right now. This is Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he is also flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. And understand, when he gave him that 120-year period, you read that in the book of Joshua. You can even read that in the Jubilee. It let us know, like, yo, that 120 year, on the 120th year, not 119, not 118, 120th year, Noah let us in. Said no. And that's just how it's going to be at the end of time. People going to be, yo, damn, you know what? I didn't know I was supposed to have been blowing the trumpet, because I didn't know that the Feast of Tabernacles was coming up. I didn't know we were supposed to blow the trumpet. I didn't know I was supposed to dwell in booths. I didn't know I was supposed to have a day of atonement when I'm supposed to afflict my souls and forgive all of those that I did wrong to. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. And God going to come and go, oh, well, you should have been studying. Who's going to be doing this for you all the time? Come on, y'all grown, right? So we're going to get into the next joint. We're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 5. And like I said, after this verse, I'm going to stop it. I see I'm at about 48. It's probably going to be about an hour. I do apologize. I can't help it, though. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 5. Moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy, being confounded, she found out the righteous and preserved him blameless unto God, and kept him strong against his tender compassion towards his son. This is Abraham, and we're going to make sure this information is correct when we do the precept. Go to Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. So clearly, what wisdom is letting us know is that at the end of the day, these nations was being confounded and got stuck. When God tore down the Tower of Babel, he confounded and changed everybody's language. Nobody had the same language anymore. If I said, hey, what's up? You didn't know what I said. Only way these people could understand how or what was being said was if they drew a picture. Over time, this thing became a thing where, oh, all right, if you draw me a picture, this is going to be our secret. You know what I mean? We can't give this to everybody. You get what I'm saying? We're going to go to Genesis chapter 11, verse 4 through 7. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And understand this is our conversations today. You have a man and let you be known, yo, listen, I think we need to start getting towards the Bible and getting towards the commandments of God and start doing that, fulfilling that. A man will say, nah, I got to get this money. I got to go out here and get these girls. You see all these hot girls, these college girls that's out right now. You see, at the end of the day, it's so much unrighteousness in this world that man will actually, he won't even take a chance to even hear something good. Because of all of his worldly possessions, it has him so riled up, man. I wish this would actually get out of the children of Israel, man, because at the end of the day, the same way these words are, these men was trying to make a name for themselves. And they was only looking at the fact of, yo, it was a flood in the earth. We're not trying to get caught by that again. So I'm going to save myself. I'm going to make sure I take care of myself. God didn't never say, yo, make sure y'all take care of yourself. Verse 5, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built it. Verse 6, and I want you to understand this verse, very important. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. So he came down. I was already up there. But I came down and I had to look at this from floor to ceiling. And when I looked at this, I'm like, yo, this is what these... So in other words, as you can understand, when he looked at this tower, this is how he's looking at us today. Because, I came down and I died for y'all. And this is what y'all doing? One man could be a Muslim, one man could be a Christian, but I told the Christians or the Gentiles, do not go into the Gentile way, go into the children of Israel. So I died for y'all to do this? Yeah, I'm going to destroy y'all. I'm not going to play with you. Verse 7, first phones, let me finish that verse. Verse 6, and the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And remember, we all speak in English now. It's not like to say that nobody never heard of this God before. Dig what I mean? So, and now, nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Verse 7, go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. I'm going to make y'all people stupid. How about that now? Being as though y'all want to do these unrighteous acts, now I'm going to make you stupid. Being as though you want to be stupid, you want to play stupid, now you're going to be stupid. So you see how your father worked? He's not a teddy bear, man. Just as a time when he came and looked at that tower, he's looking at us right now. Oh, you sitting up in the office signing yourself up for the second coronavirus shot? I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy your kids first, and then I'm going to destroy you. I better get right. This is I'm still in Genesis chapter 11. I'm gonna go to verse 10, and then I'm gonna drop down to verse 27. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm on the wrong joint. I apologize for that. Excuse me, Salakia. 26, actually. 26 and 27. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahar, and Haran. 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahar, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. Now I just wanted to put that out there so we could be able to understand, like I said, that she preserved this particular man. That story of Terah and Abraham is very delicate, man. And in the book of Joshua, again, Genesis is a lot to grapple up. I'll be here all day. But understanding this, that we already identifying that this man who Wisdom of Solomon was talking about, how she preserved this man to be able to do a thing for the Lord. You dig what I'm saying? So this man right here is Abraham, right? This is Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Now, the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And understand this, when this man did this thing, he didn't know where he was going. I mean, not to say the least, like, you get a word from God, but to say, God is telling you, yo, go to this particular land. You didn't know where you was going. God told you to read the Bible. You won't even read the Bible. You dig what I'm saying? But this man, if you ever trying to look for any type of faith, if you look at anything of the faith that Noah, of Shem, of Seth, for that matter, any of those people, at the end of the day, they made sure that their eyes was never taken away from God. They always made sure their eyes was set on him. Because at the end of the day, after I've witnessed or heard about all of the unrighteous dealings of other men and what God would do to them, I didn't want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So around this particular time, the reason why God told him to leave his father's house is because Terah was under the rulership of Nimrod in the land of Shinar. And because of the land of Shinar around that moment of time, Nimrod was a powerful king. That was the very first king after the flood. So because of this, around this particular time, it was so much unrighteous dealings going on. God said, yo, you're not going to be around that, but I'll preserve you, I'll take you, and you're going to do a thing for me. You dig what I'm saying? I'm going to go to First Chronicles. Yeah, I'm going to go to First Chronicles. Chapter 1. The first book of the Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 28. The sons of Abraham, Isaac and Ishmael. Now I want you to understand this perfectly clear. Verse 28. The sons of Abraham, Isaac and Ishmael. I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 25. Because I want you to understand something. And then I'm going to tell you why I want you to understand it. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 5. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. It does not say Ishmael. It does not say Midian. It does not say Medan. It says, I gave all that I had to Isaac. I had 2 sons at the first. But everything of my possession I gave to Isaac. Now, this is the thing that I want you to know. And this is going to be this is the last of my little session right here. I'm going to cut this off for part 1. And then I'll do part 2. But I want you to understand something about Isaac. Okay? Isaac has a brother. And his brother name is Ishmael. Ishmael was born at the first. Ishmael, it's not to say that he was a mistake, but he was. He wasn't supposed to be brought up, but, operating in haste, and when you thinking of, you trying to do so much instead of being patient and wait, how I read earlier, let us run this race with patience. This man at that moment of time, because he was trying to please the Lord so much, instead of him having patience, he decided to operate and move about in a way that he really shouldn't have. So, When he wound up doing this particular thing, he wound up having sex with his wife's slave, and they brought forth a kid, and his name is Ishmael. Ishmael today is the head of what we have as the Muslims. But they have so many nationalities and so many things going on with that, and because of that, they feel as though that this is the true faith. You know, the Muslims are the true faith. They don't really know it. They don't really know because they don't really care for our law. And the reason why they don't care for our law is because, as I just read to you in Genesis chapter 25, verse 5, he did not give all of his possession to Isaac. He gave all of his possession. Salakia. He did not give all of his possession to Ishmael. He gave it to Isaac. And there was a reason for that. And I'm going to show you a reason why there was a reason for that. And this is in the book of Joshua. Like I said, this book of Joshua is very important. This is chapter 22 in the book of Joshua, and I'm going to read from 42 to 45. And I'm going to let you understand the thing. And Ishmael boasted himself to Isaac, saying, I was 13 years old when the Lord spoke to my father to circumcise us. And I did according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke to my father. And I gave my soul unto the Lord, and I did not transgress his word, which he commanded my father. And understand this, around this particular time, this is around the time of Abraham going to offer, or before he's about to make an offering to the Lord. And around this particular time, Isaac is of age. He's about in his 30s. You know what I mean? He's about like 30, 37, somewhere around that age, between the age of 30 and 37. And him and his brother is having a conversation. And his brother is letting it be known, yo, check it. You know, when daddy died and he go, everything that he got, all his possessions, is going to me because I'm the firstborn and I was the first circumcised at 13. Now, we clearly see in Genesis, it says that Abraham gave everything to Isaac. Had nothing to do with Ishmael. So, as Ishmael is boasting himself, let's check out what Isaac says. And it's the reason why I wanted to bring this up. I do apologize for me going over my time. But again, I can't stop that. Let me show you what Isaac said. This is verse 43. And Isaac answered Ishmael, saying, Why do thou boast to me about this, about a little bit of thy flesh, which thou didst take from thy body, concerning which the Lord commanded thee? Why are you telling me about a circumcision? You cut your little stuff off, your little wee-wee, whatever, and you was sore for about a week. So what? You think that's something that God commanded you to do? How can you be glad about something that God commanded you to do? Now I understand why certain mothers get mad at certain men for saying, yo, I'm a father, I take care of my kids. That's what you're supposed to do, you dumb nigga. At the end of the day, you can't boast for something that you're supposed to do. So clearly, Ishmael was boasting, right? So Isaac, like, what you boasting about? Cutting your little flesh, your little wee-wee. I don't care about that. You was commanded to do that. Watch this. 44. And this is Isaac still speaking. As the Lord liveth, the God of my father Abraham, if the Lord should say unto my father, Take now thy son Isaac, and bring him up an offering before me, I will not refrain, but I would joyfully accede to it. Nigga, I'm ready, I'm with it. What, you willing to do that? Ishmael's looking at him like, nigga, you crazy. You gonna offer your own stuff up, nigga? All this life out here, all these women, all of this cattle, all this land that I could possibly have. Psh, you crazy, right? Now check this out. This is verse 45. And the Lord heard the word that Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good in the sight of the Lord. And he thought to try Abraham in this matter. So that wasn't just a situation that God was willing to do, or, I'm going to just get ahead and just make him, just offer your kid. That's why I said in Genesis, it's a lot that, you missing on, but you have other work. You dig what I'm saying? You just have to be willing to do it. Now, this is the reason why I wanted to bring about the fact of Isaac, right? And how Wisdom of Solomon in chapter 10, verse 5, she said that she preserved this man, Abraham, so he could have compassion towards his son to do a thing. At the end of the day, Isaac just rebuked his brother for boasting about doing a commandment that we are supposed to be doing. Here it is. If I will offer myself up and do whatever, I don't care about a job, I don't care about anything else, and if it means that my brothers is still going to be stuck in destitution, right? I don't care about any of that, because Christ didn't come down here and take this. He didn't take a wife, he didn't take cars, he didn't take possessions. He said, nah, I'm going to come down here, I'm going to save the children of Israel. You dig what I'm saying? So just as this particular man right here, he showed good work the same way Abel showed good work. Here it is. Ishmael is showing some kind of a Cain-like setting. You dig what I'm saying? So I want to give you an understanding of the name of Isaac. The name of Isaac, his name means one laughs. As you clearly see, he was just laughing at his brother like, you bugging, boy. You telling me about your little foreskin. I don't care about that. Isaac's name means one laughs. And he gets this trait from his parents, from his father and from his mother. And I'm going to prove that to you. You're going to go to Genesis chapter 17, verse 17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? So he laughed. I'm going to go to Sarah. Genesis chapter 18, verse 11 and 12. Now, Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure? My Lord being old also, we hundreds of years old. God is now going to bless me with a kid. Like, you dig what I'm saying? Understand this. Isaac got that same trait from his mother and his father. Naturally, he did that not to hate on his brother, but here it is. I see where you trying to get slick. Understand this. It's going to be a time where God is going to come down here and we're going to be, when he starts to shake things up and it's time for us to go sit with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember what I said. Isaac's name is one laughs. Ha 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 ha. Check out this bizarre, right? At the end of the day, he's going to be laughing because all of those who thought to say the least, anybody who went to jail today, I'm going to convert over to Muslim and I'm going to worship Muhammad. Isaac's going to be laughing at you, man. Because you don't belong in that setting. You don't even come from that. But you don't even know that my brother been trying to fight and take this. And there's going to be plenty of brothers that's going to fight to try to take the heritage away. But clearly, we have biblical record that it says in Genesis 25, verse 5, Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, not to Ishmael, boy. So I'm sorry. I do apologize for going over my time. I'm going to try to make the next one as maybe a little bit less than that, but if not, I can't stop what the Father is going to have me to do. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, like I said, I always want to give praise and honor to the Father, Ahaya, Ashur, Ahaya, who we call God. I want to give praise and honor to Ahaya, Bahashim Yeshaya, who we call Jesus Christ. I want to thank the Holy Spirit for dwelling on me, and not just on me, but I have so many other brothers that's doing this same good work. I have other people who may be watching who's starting to take into the effect of things. You doing that spirit is going to start to reach out to you. Whether we doing it on video, phone, however, that spirit is going to connect with yours, and we're going to all be doing a thing eventually, So I definitely like to give praise and honor to the Rawat. Thank those for actually giving me some time, working with me. Until next time, we're going to do something much more. I'm going to try to keep it more interesting, keep it with flavor, and keep it with salt. Until that time, continue to look for these videos. Continue to strive for greatness as far as doing this Bible. Even if you could read 4 chapters a day, 3 chapters a day, something. Do something productive so the Father can see. God gave us eyes, he gave us ears, he gave us a mouth. So if he gave us these things, he can see exactly what you're looking at. He hears what you hear, and he can see what you're talking about too. Let's start to work towards righteousness. All right? Peace and blessings, family. I love y'all. I hope this works. Kwam Yasharala.